Okay, welcome to the URBONUS podcast. I'm the host, URBONUS. We have this wonderful guy, Augustas Šliauskas.
And the replacement.
Another great replacement, Gytis Blaževičius. Why replacement? Because Rytis was about to be here to throw some crazy takes for the Final Four in Berlin, but we had a late-minute absence. Just like hour before the tip-off of the podcast, he woke up and said that he's not going to be able to perform because he's sick. He feels bad. He basically cannot speak. And I mean, we were a bit disappointed, but we have this amazing replacement in Gytis Blaževičius, right?
Yeah. Rytis got the green fever, I heard. Something like that.
Yeah. I was wondering if he actually choked because of the podcast and the predictions that he had to do, or did he realize that he will have to predict that Panathinaikos will win the Final Four, and he just couldn't, because it goes against his nature.
His body doesn't let him. Yeah.
So probably that was the reaction of the body, right? Although I think we're gonna test and check Rytis if he was really sick or he's just on a really difficult hangover. So I think we're gonna make a phone call.
Actually, yeah, let's do that. Once we get to the predictions. Because I think that
he's sleeping right now. We tried to text him to ask him his Final Four prediction, which we will try to provide you during the show. But yeah, it's better not to get a text message from him, but just call him straight away.
Are you guys feeling the hype of the Final Four or not so much? Like, are you hyped for this week or?
I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not feeling it at this moment. I don't know. Maybe once we get there to
we're
Berlin.
Once you
flying
board
soon,
the plane,
so,
I think you'll feel that. And we're about to board our plane to Berlin in a few hours. So maybe that's when, because now I have to deal with a lot of stuff in my home. My child is sick again. It's a lot of stuff is happening. So no Final Four hype yet.
Yeah, and as we're speaking, I'm working on a video about how Euroleague should ditch the Final Four. So my opinion on it is clear. I will still enjoy whatever is happening this weekend, but in general, I don't have a hype for a 3-day event. I would rather be hyped for a few weeks. But you'll hear all about it in the video that's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah. If you also have problems in, let's say, feeling the hype of the Final Four, we actually have a suggestion for you guys. We have this wonderful BasketNews Terrace in Berlin, next to Uber Arena, where the Final Four will be hosted. In Uber Platz, there is this great restaurant.
Kebab shop.
Or strip club. Redo XXL. No. It's a great place to eat. Huge portions. Julius, he's like a... How do you say jautis in English?
A bull.
Like a bull. Okay, yeah. Bull is a good word. He's like a small bull that we have in the office. He was shocked with the portion that he got in this restaurant.
But he
asked only for the half of the portion, to be honest with you.
But you're advertising the wrong things. It's not about the food. We're going to have a little fan zone there. That's the main point why you're inviting people.
But in every nice fan zone, you need something to eat, you need drinks, and basketball conversations. That's what will make this place amazing during the Final Four, because probably that's the spot where you're going to meet all of us, first of all. We will try to do the podcast over there before the semifinals and before the title game as well. But we're going to have some events over there, like on Saturday at 2 p.m. We're going to have a quiz show. And before, we will have a meet and greet session with us and also our special guest that we will disclose just before Saturday. So we will do the podcast on Friday and Sunday over there in Redo XXL. We will have our crew members over there, and I believe is going to be the spot for BasketNews Plus members to go there to share their feelings about BasketNews, to share their feelings about the Final Four, and we hope that this is. I mean, I've been to Berlin. I've been in this place, and every other restaurant, bar, they look quite random. But our idea is to gather all these basketball freaks from all Europe and just to share this best atmosphere of the Final Four right there in Redo XXL. next to Uber Arena in Uber Platz.
Because I saw just now, there are a lot of these places throughout Berlin. So look for specifically for the one near the arena.
Exactly. By the way, you'll be also able to buy some great BasketNews merchandise that we did specially for the Final Four. We have some regular Final Four merch, but also some specialized merch for Panathinaikos fans, Olympiacos fans, Fenerbahce fans. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot to offer to Real Madrid fans. 100 people that are going to come to Berlin to support Real Madrid. But even if you're a Real Madrid fan, we have some other merch that you're gonna like. So a lot of good stuff is going to happen in Redo XXL during the Final Four weekend.
Right. Should we get to the juicy?
We should start with the juicy, the most interesting part of the podcast.
Where the memes are born.
Exactly.
Really?
So...
thanks to Ritus.
Yeah, so the idea is we're writing the winner only on this sheet of paper and then doing the Ritus to the camera and seeing what we have, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hope some way, somehow, our answers do not match.
I have a feeling that it's not going to
be
the same.
Augusta said... Okay, an outlier with Fenerbahce.
Oh, Real Madrid? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
shout
a boring
out
prediction.
Shout out to our Greek community, who's once again disappointed.
These guys are so boring.
Yes, we are.
Real Madrid, the easiest pick to be correct with the Final Four prediction.
You know why though?
My idea was, we're gonna, make our predictions and defend our picks. But when you both have Real Madrid, I really thought that you're going to be a little bit more original. But okay, it's kind of, to defend Real Madrid's pick is kind of an easy task, right?
It's probably more about mentioning all the things that have to happen for them in order to lose, or mentioning things that they have to avoid. Because, talent-wise, scheme-wise, and, looking from many different points of views, they are the favorites. I think every fan base would agree, that logically they are the favorites. They have been amazing all season long. They had some up-down moments, but, you can't win all 100% of games. But at the same time, if they are focused and connected, they are the favorites. But once again, I think, and especially this year, Final Four makes it more interesting, because in the series, to win a 3-game series against Real Madrid would be super tough. But in one game, who knows what might happen? They might miss a lot of open 3-pointers, and there is nothing you can do about that. So, but yeah, I'm picking Real Madrid just for all those reasons: the talent, the way they play, the way they know each other. They have so many different weapons in every position, basically all over the court, outside, inside, one-on-one, in the post, in every position. So I just had to go with them, although I was really thinking like Donatas. Which of the other 3 teams I might pick, so just in order to make this podcast more interesting, so we can talk from different points of views. But let's start with you. Let's start with Fener, I think.
Gitas, do you have anything to add?
Just that I played it safe in the playoffs. I said I got everything right except for Real Baskonia, which I was 1 game off. I gave Baskonia 1 game, and that's, because I trusted my heart more than my brain. But yeah, what Ogi said, all logical, and I just expect to be disappointed at the end of the day. I should actually do this. This is my prediction. This is the real prediction, right? Because
from the content creator perspective.
Exactly. So last year and the year before, we had finals where FS won, and they don't have a big support or big fan base, and we were kind of disappointed because content kind of stopped after that, kind of. And then last year when Real Madrid won, absolutely all the energy out of that Kaunas Žalgiris arena was sucked out, because that was the one result nobody wanted. And that's what I'm expecting, that we're going to be a little bit disappointed. There's not going to be a breakdown about the Euroleague final because nobody's going to watch it. And the last vlog is also going to bomb in terms of numbers. So that's why I'm just expecting to be disappointed.
Okay.
But there are things that might lead them, to losing one game, because somebody might throw a zone. They, like Real Madrid, have weak spots. That's what I'm trying to say, and teams can try to exploit them, but they need to have a perfect game against them. Like, for example, their defensive rating. Like, if we're looking more a bit into the specifics, their defensive rating go way down with the second unit when Chacho Rodriguez and Sergio Yui is there, just because, okay, you have Poirier or Tavares in the middle, but they are just that one step late, which gives an extra space for the ball handlers. That might help. Teams might try to exploit Gershon Yabusele and his defense. Basically every team tried to do that. And, if he's not focused 100%, it's going to be really easy to get shots. But at the same time, on the other side, every position is basically a mismatch. So it's not like Real Madrid does not have weak spots. They will have to figure things out, and they have this. Looking at the semifinal, they have some particular things that they're trying to do, like, for example, daring Thomas Walkup to shoot in basically every possession. And who knows, what if Thomas Walkup hits 5 out of 7 threes? Because we, as Lithuania national team fans and Žalgiris, we like Žalgiris, and it seems like in every game Thomas Walkup makes every freaking three-pointer, when he's playing against Lithuania or Žalgiris Kaunas. But in other games, he might go 1 of 7. So
I've checked Thomas Walkup's, let's say, momentum in the last 10 games, because since his 3-point shooting will be crucial for Olympiacos to pass over Real Madrid. In the last 10 games, which basically happened in the last month, in the last 30 days, Walkup was 7 of 36 shooting the ball from free, which is less than 20%. I know that history, the track record, some numbers doesn't mean anything. I mean, you just have to go and perform. And he can, as you mentioned, in some big games like against Lithuania, he can hit 5 threes. But let's say it's another reason why I don't expect Olympiacos to win the semifinal game.
But who knows? They might have their revenge. They're a team that fights, that hustles. If they keep the possession number way above for themselves, they limit their turnovers. They get more offensive rebounds. Olympiacos, if they want to win, they need to have like at least 10 more possessions than Real Madrid, because their offense is not as good as Real Madrid's offense. So, and at the same time, you mentioned Thomas Walkup, and I tracked every possession of their game in Piraeus this season. Real Madrid dared him to shoot, and 17 possessions ended in Thomas Walkup pick and roll and Real Madrid going under. 17 in one game. That's just insane number. So basically they're like playing this lottery of, can you make the shot? Mm-hmm. It's not like the best defense you can play, because you can make it tougher for him, but at the same time you limit all the creation from him, dare him to shoot, but he can he might be able to make some shots, and then you change the momentum, and you might go on a good streak that Olympiacos basically needs. So that is going to be a really interesting point of view.
For me, it's the key of the game, to be honest. Like, we watched the series between Barcelona and Olympiacos. All we were talking about is Olympiacos offense and how they get stuck, how they turn the ball over, and how they don't make the shots. And I think it's not just Thomas Walkup, but also guys like Kanan, guys like Williams Goss, who will have to step up. And if they don't make their shots, or if they turn the ball over, I think Real Madrid is the deadliest team in transition to turn the ball over or get a defensive rebound and run on transition, because they punished all the teams in the Euroleague this whole season. But against a team who is struggling like Olympiacos, I think it might be the complete game changer if they don't improve it. And Walkup shot like one of 6 and 3 of 10 in those 2 games they had in the regular season. So definitely you're saying the tendency is right now that his shooting is struggling. So I don't know. Something needs to happen out of the ordinary here.
In that game in Piraeus, and for the viewers, probably for Olympiacos fans who are listening, I'm not taking into consideration the second game they had, the more recent one. just because Olympiacos didn't have Mustafa Fall, Milutinov, and Moses Wright was not there. I know that some players were missing in game one as well, like Nigel Williams-Goss, Gershon Yabusele was not playing, so it's not the full picture. But at the same time, Olympiacos had their big guys, so you can kind of get the idea of what is going to happen. And I think what's really missing here is the shooting center to get Tavares and Poirier out of the painted area. Like Olympiacos don't really have that unless they decide to play Petrushev at the 5. But, you have Wright, you have Milutinov, you have Fall.
But I think it's more about defense. If Olympiacos wants to win the game, it has to be the low-scoring game.
For sure.
And that's the note that I basically have. Olympiacos has a chance to win a game against Real Madrid if they're going to be as physical as they can be, actually, if they're going to be very intense in defense, if Walkup and some other guys will make shots, and also if they will manage to stop Real Madrid's offense and to get them into this ugly, slow, sluggish, bad basketball that we not bad but ugly basketball that we saw in the series against Barcelona as well. They must keep them under 80, and in the last 8 EuroLeague games, in the last 8 of 9 EuroLeague games Madrid had, they scored at least 86 points. And although they lost some games where they allowed more than 80 points, for instance, or when they scored more than 80 points, like against Panathinaikos, Fenerbahce and Baskonia, these were only 3 cases where Real Madrid scored 80 and lost the game. But we're talking about offensively very talented teams to have a huge offensive spark, like Baskonia with Marcus Howard, even with Fenerbahce, and it was an overtime game as well. Panathinaikos, the game they played in Madrid by scoring 97 was amazing. One of the best games, one of the best offensive performances I've seen in this season. The other losses that Real Madrid had was when they scored less than 80. And even if they won some games when they scored less than 80, it was really hard. Against Žalgiris, 2-point game. Against Asvel, 1-point game. Valencia, 3-point game. And Barca, 1-point game. So, I mean, there is this pattern for Olympiacos to expect a win, but we're talking about a very, very not unlikely scenario, but the odds of that happening are really small.
Interestingly enough, I went on Bibalytics, and there's this win probability section there. And on there, it says that 47% for Real to win and 53% for Olympiacos.
Okay. But I think
have any idea?
Because it takes, I'm not sure of the formula there. I have to ask Mikolas Tumbras, who owns this website. But I think it takes into consideration the last 8 games really a lot. And as we know, in the second half of the regular season, Real Madrid were not as great. But it's not the same team.
And they only had 3 playoff games, which were all kind of, well, not all of them close, 2 of them kind of close. And maybe that's why, maybe because you take more of the regular season ones from Real Madrid.
I'm not sure, but just to be clear, we are not, I think, we are not saying that Olympiacos can't win. It's just they need a really
lot of
great
things
game.
to happen. Yeah,
I know, like, for example, I believe they could have one because of their experience, because of their grit, because of their hustle, because of, Shaq McKissing making plays, Papa Nicolau making plays, I don't know, Nigel Williams-Goss.
Against his former team.
Yeah. So they have guys to actually pull the upset off, but it's just Real Madrid are the favorites in this semifinal. Let's be honest, and it's, I don't think
you don't need to explain yourself. Why you're not picking Olympiacos in this case. I've actually had a survey of the EuroLeague players. I picked at least one player from each EuroLeague team that didn't make it to the Final Four, and I asked them to share their picks for the semifinal winners and for the champions. There were 2 guys who picked Olympiacos in the semifinal, and there wasn't a single guy who picked Olympiacos as the EuroLeague winners this year.
Damn.
So that's a huge extra motivation for Olympiacos players, extra spark for Olympiacos fans as well, to go into the comment section and to say how we all underrate Olympiacos and that they can actually surprise us all. So I think based on these predictions that I have coming from the players, by the way, the 2 guys who thought that Olympiacos will win against Real Madrid were Vlado Lucic from Bayern and Deshaun Thomas from Asvel. They both actually predict the Greek final in the EuroLeague between Panathinaikos and Olympiakos. So it makes sense, the way we see this Berlin, and it basically makes Olympiakos the biggest underdogs of this Final Four. Of course, mainly because they're
playing
facing
Real Madrid
in the semifinal game.
How many players participated in
So
this?
14. Okay,
14?
I'm still missing 2 guys, but
Yeah.
I have predictions from 12 players.
Can you say which team
Is
how
the
many
most
was?
common?
Yeah. I mean Real Madrid.
Real Madrid,
believe.
but I think that
The difference is not that big.
difference is not that big.
Okay.
We have
Hey, it's the beauty of the Final Four.
This wasn't 100% pick, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
But my final is very different from Donatis's. That's the difference, My final
Okay.
does not have this team in there, My final
Man.
has a different team. That's why I think it's
soon
close.
See,
as-
this is why Gytis is here and not Rytis, because
No, but this is honest. This is no bullshit.
no,
you know?
I know. I'm not saying anything.
But do we
I'm just
go to
joking.
this prediction here?
Yeah, of course.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I have
let's
to
go.
clean myself.
Before we move on to that other semifinal that I'm very interested about, I want to take this and say this is my pick for the Final Four, Hostinger, who is with us for the last few months, and I mean they're
The most consistent player of the EuroLeague season, I would say.
they're all in one, like a Swiss Army knife. You got
Like Nikolatis.
or
right?
like
he can play D.
Cody Miller-McIntyre.
He can be a floor general. He can make threes.
No.
No. It matters.
Hostinger is like Real Madrid. They have everything.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Come on, guys.
That's
But what they do have is the website builder that can be powered by AI if you choose so. You can also just pick some templates that they have. They're professionally made by designers, 150 of them. You can customize all of them, as well as if you make your website through the AI builder, you can customize that one. Well, you have to customize that one because obviously that's a beginning for you to get the sections right, but you don't have to know anything about coding. You don't have to know anything about design. You just use the tools that they have, and also you don't need to even write anything yourself. You can choose to use the SEO friendly AI writer from their thing and some other
Hosting
things.
your website builder is like Facundo Campas, I would say. Just give the
We
ball
keep
in
going with
his
that.
hands. There's this drag and drop function that I really love. He makes it easier. If you don't know the text that you want to put for your headlines, for all the information, there's this AI tool that makes it look as professional as it can be. So it's basically playing with Facundo Campasso, who puts everyone into the pieces, and you're gonna become a successful player or your team, and you're gonna be successful in building the website with hosting your website builder, right?
Yep.
And to me, it's like probably the thing that stands out the most is I think a lot of people want to have like an online shop. They are trying to sell something, and I think a lot of people have ideas to sell something. With Hostinger, you can make your website and you can sell immediately items there without any additional transactional fees. Because if you're thinking about some other platforms, they are taking fees a little bit away from you. So Hostinger cannot only
So you save money.
you basically save money on that.
There's a number of ways to save money. You can get an additional 10% discount for all hosting plans by using the code BNews10. Free domain as well as free AI website builder is included. First of all, there are two things that I want to mention.
First of all, high five. Because this was my second pick.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I actually wanted to ask you, what was your second pick or the biggest underdog you picked to win the EuroLeague? Two things. I consider Real Madrid the best team in this Final Four. That's obvious. And I actually think that Panathinaikos is the second most talented team that we are going to have in Berlin. And I have this team beating both teams because I think that Real Madrid will make it to the finals. And I think that Fenerbahce, according to my prediction, Fenerbahce will beat Panathinaikos in the semifinals and then Real Madrid in the finals. And I pick a few reasons why I think like that. First of all, I think that Fenerbahce has the best coach in the Final Four regarding the in-game adjustments. I respect all the other coaches. They're unique in their own way.
Or game
They have
plan.
their success formula, but I think that for games, for actual games, this coach has the biggest potential to make some interesting moves and tweaks to change the scenario of the game.
Yep.
That's what you will need against teams like Real Madrid, first of all, and Panathinaikos in the semifinals. I also think that they have the best two-way point guard who can create and make his teammates better, and also who can play great defense. I mean, great defense to a level that he locked down the MVP of the season, the all-time scorer Mike James in the playoff series. I think that's huge. Third reason, they have the best forward in the EuroLeague in Nigel Hayes-Davis. Fourth reason, they have streaky scorers like Scottie Wilbekin, Tyler Dorsey. They can get hot, they can score 30 points, and that's going to be crucial in the Final Four. They will need those individual performances. They have size. They can play very, let's say, they can be a very bad matchup for those Final Four teams. To win the Final Four and to beat Madrid to become the EuroLeague champion, you have to be, let's say, supreme. You have to play your greatest basketball. And this is the only team that beat Real Madrid twice in the regular season. Sharas knows how to play against Real Madrid from his Barcelona times, so he will find the way. It's just a matter of if Fenerbahce players will manage to execute and also to go beyond their level. They will have to play their best game, that's for sure. They need this Nick Kaladis shooting from free like he did in the end against Monaco. They need better version of Nigel Hayes-Davis, that's obvious. They need some consistency from the guys I mentioned, and Scottie Wilbekin and Tyler Dorsey. And I don't believe in pressure. That's my last, let's say, reason why I picked Fener. I don't believe in pressure at this level. But if such exists and you won this argument, I mean, this team has least to lose, I think, in this Final Four.
I would now debate you a little bit and give what Panathinaikos has. So who's in a better shape right now? Kendrick Nunn or Scottie Wilbekin, if we're comparing 1-to-1?
Of course, it's Kendrick Nunn.
Right. So I would give the advantage for a guy on a hot streak. Nicolaitis, I understand your points about defense, but I think Panathinaikos has Jerran Grant for that. For the offense, they have a much more talented offensively in terms of scoring Kostas Lukas to compensate that. Then Nigel Hayes-Davis, you said one of the best forwards, sure, but I don't know how he matches up against Mitoglou. I think it's a very good matchup for Panathinaikos to have Mitoglou against him. And then if we go to the centers, I think Panathinaikos, even though they have one true center who is carrying the whole team, will play 35 minutes a game. I think it's a huge advantage. We were talking about Fenerbahce's front court as underwhelming, underperforming, and I feel like this is gonna be Lazort's night in both the final and the semifinal. But I picked for the final Real Madrid, but that's why I would argue Panathinaikos.
I mean, first of all, I agree because I picked Fener. This is not the best team in the Final Four. That means that there are obvious reasons why they cannot even surpass Panathinaikos or win the title. But let's say, I think that they have couple poisons to Panathinaikos, let's say, advantages that they have. In Kendrick Nunn, I mean, we saw what Nick did with Mike James. He is capable of doing the same with Kendrick Nunn individually and team-wise. It's going to be a team effort. It's not only about Nicolaitis. I agree that Kostas Lukas is a better, more experienced, more clutch offensive weapon than Monaco had in Jordan Lloyden and especially in Elie Okobo. I agree that Kostas Lukas is better, but that's my bet. Even though Lukas is better, I mean, Fenerbahce proved that it's not only about stopping Mike James, it's also containing the other guys. And let's admit, Monaco has a great backcourt. Jordan Lloyd, Okobo, they're not on that level, but they're also at a very high level, very great backcourt. And they managed to contain that one. The problem is with Matthias Lazort. It's for sure the biggest weakness, the biggest question mark in my eyes for Fenerbahce. And I think that Sharas will have to be original, and also I put high hopes on Sertac Shenli. I think that he's the only guy who can match Lazort's physicality. I think that he's the only guy who's, let's say, smart enough to try to contain Matthias Lazort from the beginning of the game. And I don't see them, let's say, stopping Matthias Lazor completely, but if Sertac and Lee will manage to do something, to drop usual numbers of Matthias Lazor, or at least not let him to dominate the paint, that will be crucial.
Imagine, it's one game, right? And I agree with you, Donatas, because I think, Fener for one game have better chances. If this was the semifinal series, I would take Panathinaikos.
I would go the opposite because I feel like they're deeper and in a longer run with more adjustments, let's say coach adjustments. I feel like that's the argument for the opposite.
No, I think Fener has, have a good chance here because I think still Panathinaikos is the favorite. But Fener, let's remind game one, Maccabi Panathinaikos. They lost it. And basically, it took them some time to adjust, to the series. And I think they're not as reactive as a team can be. And if Šaras prepares a great game plan, it goes well in the first quarter, they will have a chance. They will have a chance because there's a pick and pop option with to get to punish Lazor and his pick and roll defense. There is an option to, that Šaras showed against Monaco to play small ball. It's just so many different options. Although now with Motley back, imagine what happens. You're saying Matthias Lazor is the guy to watch out. What if Motley gets him into early foul trouble? That's a huge game changer.
I think vice versa scenario is more likely. That's why they're gonna have to start Sertac and Lee. Yeah.
Okay, but give Motley the ball there and let's see what happens. Just because.
Yeah, but that's a part of the plan. Yeah.
I could definitely see that
just to
happening.
check how refs are going to approach the game. What level of physicality is going to be, and maybe it's the best to test it in the first few minutes of the game.
So Motley is a good scorer. If he can get Lazor a couple of fouls early, that would be huge. So at the same time, the small forward position where Marius Grigonis is, and I know Yannis Papapetru is there, but probably still, Ergin Ataman is going to revert back to Grigonis in the starting lineup. And if you have Daishon Pierre, now let's give the ball to Daishon Pierre and see what happens. How will and how quickly, if Panathinaikos need to do that, how will they adjust? So... But just because what Donatas mentioned, they have Šaras. I think his game plans and his in-game adjustments are the best in the EuroLeague and the best in this Final Four. So I'm not ruling out Fener at all. I think this semifinal is going to be really great. And for Pau to win, all three guys, Nuns, Lucas, and Matthias Lazor, have to play great. And these three already proved they can do that. And I'm really looking forward to this semifinal because I think it's going to be a great match, and I think it's going to be beautiful to watch as well offensively.
I had the same argument actually regarding the forwards and especially trying to use Marius Grigonis as the mismatch, but at the same time, they cannot match Bonzi Colson's ability in the post or just individual scoring ability. I'm talking about Nigel Hayes-Davis and Deshaun Pierre. I even checked post-up game stats on Instat. So Colson was averaging 1.2 points per possession in low post situations and post-ups. Nigel Hayes-Davis has 1 point per such possession, and Deshaun Pierre is only 0.7. 0.9. And I mean, so it's still quite average.
But he can just play bully ball against Marius.
They can try, for sure. They can try, and for sure they will try. So
don't you think?
If they're gonna put Papapetru from the early beginning, to eliminate those potential mismatches.
That's where I feel like I expect to see Papapetru against Pierre, and then when Guduric gets in, I would expect Grigonis to play. That's why I don't even see this matchup happening. But okay. I was just gonna say
it could happen.
Yeah,
it could happen, but it's just based on it's a guess basically because we can't know what Ataman or Šaras will do. It's a guess based on previous tendencies, and
I feel like we're saying those three guys need to play for Panathinaikos well. Those other guys need to play good for Fenerbahce in order for them to win, but. I think it might also come down to these X factors we don't expect, like, the first game, Sestina hitting all those threes, or maybe Kalaitzakis is going to come out and make 3 steals in a row or 2 blocks and change the game. So I feel like it's more likely to see something unexpected than what we are expecting, because this is all the time happening. Like,
and this is
we say things and then they don't happen. Yeah, exactly.
And this is Final Four. Like, one team can just throw zone. Like last year, I think Real Madrid in the final, they were playing zone defense against Olympiacos, and it wasn't like they were playing it much in the season, going to the Final Four, but because it's winner go home, winner takes all. You must throw different things at the opponent if you see that the game is getting out of hand. You might even throw something that you haven't done all season long just to surprise the opponent, and bam, this one thing decides all the season. So it's like predicting this Final Four is just I think it's a lot of luck involved.
And what is your prediction in this semifinal? Because
Fener.
Oh, Fener. Okay, so you both got Fener. I got Panathinaikos. In the other, we all have Real Madrid as the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My last points why I picked Fener. I mean, I don't know what you think about the Final Four experience and if experience matters, but I've just checked that Panathinaikos has the fewest number of players who played in Final Four before. Of course, Kostas Lukas is the king of the Final Fours. I think it's going to be his 10th Final Four where he logged at least 1 minute. 11th in general. Yeah, but the thing is that the only other guy in Panathinaikos that had this Final Four experience is Giannis Papapetro. So I remember having some conversations with players who played in Final Four and who shared their first Final Four experience. And they really emphasized that I think, the next time I'm going to play, or I knew that when the next time I played in Final Four, I was better, way better version, because I couldn't react, I couldn't read in that situation. So when you're facing this Fenerbahce team who has this probably only way to win the game against Panathinaikos, to surprise them tactically and to execute it perfectly, their adjustments that they're going to prepare for the game. So you have this team and you don't have any Final Four experience coming from the past. So that's where, a lot of pressure also goes on Kostas Lukas. A lot of pressure goes on his shoulders to be a great leader for this, let's say, young team in terms of the Final Four experience. You're going to see Kendrick Nunn. I don't have big doubts about his performance, to be honest. I think that he's still going to be really solid. But, to win the semifinal game, they probably need the greatness of Kendrick Nunn if other players will fall short. So a lot of interesting factors. I mean, it's going to be an amazing game.
Kendrick Nunn is let's see, from Real Madrid. Janan Musa is there, but probably one-on-one, he's like the guy in this Final Four, and I'm really interested to see, how
he's the best scorer of the Final Four.
For sure.
So I'm really interested to see how he deals with the pressure, if he feels any, because he doesn't really seem like a guy who.
But there might be this NBA, pressure, which I mentioned.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Previous podcast, that NBA decision maker is going to be in Berlin, and they might value his ability to return to NBA based on this one game, actually.
Okay. And it's the game where he's going to need to go to his right hand. Charis is not going to let him go easily to his left hand, whatever he wants to do. Of course, it depends on the players, but for sure, we know the tactics. It's the weak hand usually. And I'm looking forward to this. Should we call it Rytis?
I think it's time to call him, because
it's the first.
We gave him another 50 minutes to sleep.
The first call in URBONUS.
Yeah, probably.
History.
But the possibility of him picking up is like 5%.
Man, he's sleeping. I mean, he's just off.
He's not going to know your number. You're texting on WhatsApp all the time.
Maybe the tax man is calling.
We're calling the guy who is sick and who is sleeping, trying to recover, but we need to hear his Final Four prediction.
I mean, he cannot get away from this.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Call him on WhatsApp.
Well, I'm calling him on the mobile, which I thought was gonna
call his
get
girlfriend.
No, call him on WhatsApp.
Call his mother and say that her son is in an accident. Is what I'm hearing. I can't get him through the. Let's see. Anyways,
he's sleeping.
So since you're trying to,
I'll try one more time.
Him, I will share more of these players' predictions. So actually, 5 of 12 players. Still, it's not the final prediction, as I'm missing 2 guys. But 5 of 12 players picked Real Madrid four had Panathinaikos winning it and 3 Fenerbahce. So it's quite close, I would say.
And 2 Olympiacos.
0 Olympiacos.
Oh, 0. 2
Olympiacos.
haven't been in the final.
That's the most important thing. But the funny thing is that the last season there were only 3 guys who picked Real Madrid, and Real Madrid won the EuroLeague.
The Final Four. The Final Four beauty.
Beauty or ugliness. I don't know which one you.
Let's play this game.
True.
Go into this comment section. Share your Final Four prediction, but we need semifinal winners and title game winners.
We just need the 1 to 4. How it's gonna look like after the Final Four.
I don't care about the game for the third place, to be honest. So I just need semifinal winners and the title game winners.
We just need the final winner and who they won against, and we know everything. Don't need to complicate it. So you have, let's say, if you say final Real wins against Panathinaikos or Olympiacos wins against Fenerbahce,
whatever. It cannot be clear more. It cannot be more clear after what we explained.
Just who's gonna win against who in the final is
Share your predictions in the comment section.
The prize is Rytis's phone number.
This the biggest prize, but the second guy who makes the perfect prediction will win some great BasketNews merchandise. So since we have this specialized merch for Olympiacos, Panathinaikos, Fenerbahce, and not Real Madrid fans, we're gonna send out to you, or you can be just Žalgiris Baskonia fan. We have some other great stuff that we're gonna send to you if you make it right.
Are we gonna come back to any of the final matchups, or we kind of spoke about everything? Because I just had one more thought. Why I think Real Madrid is gonna win, and it's not about Real Madrid as much as it is about history for me. So if you remember with Efes, what happened when Ergin Ataman took over, he went from a team that was at the bottom of the standings to the Final Four, and actually finished second. With the top scorer of that team being Shane Larkin. I feel like we're seeing history repeat itself, and I feel like we're going to have... The first season is going to be close, but then maybe in the future we'll see some dynasty of Ergin Ataman at Panathinaikos. That's why I also picked Real Madrid, although I thought it is going to be definitely a close game and definitely not as offensive as you would expect from the 2 best offensive teams. In my hypothetical matchup of Real Madrid and Panathinaikos. So that's the idea. And
you're just a power hater,
I'm a hater. I'm the only one who picked them to the final, and I actually think they have a chance in the final.
I'm the Final Four hater. That's why I want to bring that idea up. Okay, we cannot do the playoff series because you cannot add 6 extra weeks to have the semifinal and the final series if those go to Game 5. So just make...
Do you need 6?
Semi-final series, probably, if you're going to play twice per week. And if you cannot deal with the domestic leagues to have yearly games on weekends, that's the only way. So you, in the worst scenario, if you have both Game 5s and semi-finals and finals, you need basically 10 weeks. 6 weeks, sorry. But, I
think it's less, but because I did the video now. But
again, do the semi-final series and then make this title game. I remember that basically 2 main reasons why EuroLeague is not... they don't like this playoff series formats in general. It was because the schedule. So at least semi-final series and not the final series as well make it a little bit shorter and easier to handle. And the second reason was they want all the EuroLeague people to come to one place and blah, blah. First of all, this is not about you guys, not about the EuroLeague. It's all about the fans, about the European basketball community. So we prefer the series. And if you still want this whole event, make the title game. Make the semi-final series and make the title game just like in the Champions League. That's it. That's the best middle ground for everybody.
More on this topic tomorrow in our channel on my video, because I don't want to get into this. Because
damn. Okay.
What else?
There was a voting though.
Yeah.
I'm still going back. I think we did it on the YouTube community.
Yeah, it was 52 to 48.
Yeah, it's really close.
Towards
it's not like the
series. Yeah, because a lot of people are saying Final Four makes the EuroLeague. You know what it is. That's what they're saying.
But a lot of people also saying, underdogs have a chance to win.
Okay, we're getting into it. I don't want to get into it.
But we are going
Why
into
did I
it.
work on this for so long to get into all of these points and spoil the video
Just not a lot, Let's just say it like this. In the last 15 years, how many underdogs have won? How many underdogs have been in the final? You maybe get into the Final Four, but you get into the Final Four by winning a series. So it's not about the underdogs.
Yeah.
Okay, Giz, sorry.
No. It's just
let's go. Let's not.
It'll
finish.
make my video kind of boring. We talk about all of it.
Don't worry, we'll have more views probably.
Did Ritas respond by any chance? No. Okay. Well, Ritas is ducking these predictions for some reason. Next thing we want to talk about is the Final Four MVP. Guessing that?
Or you want to go to
the
Serbia?
The spicy.
Maybe let's keep those bonus questions that we had for the Final Four MVPs, the number one suspect to choke in the Final Four for the Berlin's podcast. Once again,
it's already Ritas, no? He choked.
He choked. He was the number one choker in the world this week, but we're going to look for the second best choker. So just once again, on Friday in Berlin, in Redo XXL Bar, we're going to do a live podcast, probably at 3 p.m.
Local time,
Central European.
Yeah,
time.
Central European.
Yeah, so let's go to the fight that everybody was talking about.
Was it Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury this weekend, or were we?
Oh, you were hyped about this fight.
Of course, it's the biggest heavyweight fight ever. But there was a fight in basketball that nobody expected, I'm sure.
Not even on the court.
Yeah, between practices, right? Something like that.
That's crazy.
What's the scoop, Donatas? You probably have a bit more.
Just give us
Do you have any?
Give us
something more
and
than
the people. The overall of what just happened, because some people might have heard this, some people might have heard that.
There are no scoops. I mean, since we don't have the official video footage, which is strange to me.
You have parts of it only.
We have only parts of it, and we have different perspectives of everybody involved. Who
he said, she said, kind of a thing.
And there's the most interesting part is not there.
And
it's like watching a Netflix show.
Kind of. If you look at it, you can see that Nunnally swung, and I don't know if he hit him.
No,
you don't
happened
see
before.
You don't see that. That's
if he was really, if Lazarevic grabbed his neck, I mean, that's bad, and that's the response you can expect from the player. He can punch you, but I just don't understand. There was this angle of the end of the tunnel of this corridor, which showed when Nunnally and Lazarevic, when they were on the floor. It was a great view, I would say. I was surprised why this angle was not involved in the beginning of the escalation. What happened?
Are you surprised though? No, because
maybe it was from the other, from the other side, from the other way they were coming.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
It's just we're just of course we're gonna speculate, or we just don't do that. But yeah, like you say, like Crvena Zvezda uploaded that video to their YouTube channel, and
according to them, first of all, it was Partizan's footage, which started from Nunnally punching Lazarevic and Lazarevic getting on Nunnally, but even in that footage, you couldn't clearly see if he punched or if he landed his punch at Lazarevic's face, although we can see the pictures. But then Zvezda offered and uploaded this more extended footage, but still we're missing the main part.
And also, let's be honest, it's not one-sided, this fight. It wasn't like one guy attacked the other. I feel like they both were talking to each other when they were walking by the camera, and I feel like they had a moment in the game before. So I wouldn't say this was just like one guy attacked someone, because that's how it was portrayed at the beginning. It was like Lazarevic got hit in
he was attacked,
assaulted, something like that. But come on, this is a game where men with huge egos are playing, and you say something wrong to someone, you hurt their ego, and they're gonna go at you. And I feel like both of those guys were playing that game. So I think it's on both sides. It's not to be, decisive who's at fault here.
It was just a result of an ongoing conversation pushing, shoving from the start of the series, because we saw Nunnally just grabbing Lazarevic by the neck, boxing out after a free throw. That was already weird. But, then, Nunnally and Partizan said, responded by this saying, racism, all kinds of words, just, I don't know, hate speech or whatever. Just trash talking, and probably at a level a little bit too high. So we can't really know what happened, although probably there are people that do know.
But I think we have a great lesson. First of all, it's sad that in a span of 1 year, basically, we had 2 incidents already with Gershon Yabusele. And this whole fight, it's not only about Yabusele. It was Partizan Madrid fight. We had this fight in the URBONUS Final Series. We're also close to what I would define as a tragedy in Ulker Arena when Fenerbahce was playing against Monaco, and fans almost got involved physically. They got involved, but at least not physically with Monaco players. I think we have this one great lesson for future incidents, or I would say how to avoid future incidents. Players must put their egos aside, because if that's not the case, if you cannot cope with your ego, you can hurt yourself and your team. Because we have a case where James Nunnally, for one reason or another, got involved in the fight, and he was super important player for Partizan. He scored 27 points. Okay, in the second game, I think he got 2, but he was really important. In my eyes, he was maybe the most consistent player of Partizan this season. He was super important for them to bounce back and to avoid the sweep. So he gets involved in this fight for not putting his ego aside, and Partizan gets swept. The same happened with Partizan last year. If Kevin Punter didn't react the way he reacted after what Sergio Yui did, it wouldn't escalate to the level that it happened. And then we got these suspensions, the series back to Madrid, and Partizan lost. We had this case in Ulker Arena. If Jaron Blasingame didn't want to, let's say, over-celebrate the victory, and he didn't storm the court to celebrate with Alpha Diallo, but in the same way, trash-talking with the fans, I mean, there would have been quite quiet end of the game. And to me, we see the examples, and the conclusion is clear. You have to put your ego down. You have to pick your fights. It's not your fight. And especially in this moment of the season, playoff series, final series, what I don't like about these situations where you can actually change the series, because I'm not eager to punish teams badly. I don't want Fenerbahce to be punished badly by huge fines from the Euroleague. I am not eager to punish, Real Madrid team from the last year, or whoever is fault in this ABA League final fight. I'm not a guy of punishments. I don't believe in it. But at the same time, at this point, with these situations that we have, the current rule book endorse somebody to change the series in this way. Because not much is on the line. You're not going to be punished so badly that it's going to be, in the end, it's going to be really bad for you and you're not winning anything. No. I mean, Zvezda in this case, for one reason or another, they had their rival losing one of their most important players. Real Madrid last year, they got 2 of the best players of Partizan suspended. In this case, some Monaco players, including Mike James, who was also super active in this whole altercation with the fans, they also almost got hurt by that. So I just don't like this perspective of these stories. But again, put your ego aside, pick your fights, and you're gonna come out as a winner.
When you're when you're on top, when you're one of the best players in the team, obviously it comes with that. The ego comes with it. So you see the good guys, Julian Smith, who's more of a
Julian
second
Smith, MVP of this
MVP
incident.
Mike Tobey is just walking like that. John Travolta.
And he's also MVP in his own way.
Yeah.
Don't get involved in this shit.
Yeah. So you need more of these good guys, but unfortunately, good guys don't win.
Talking about good guys, Gershon Yabusele tweeted after this, "At least now they will stop texting about the fight." What the fuck, bro?
Just reminds us more about it.
You are the last person.
Yeah.
from the basketball world to tweet actually something like this. I don't know. After doing what he did last year, now tweeting this, saying like I did not. Basically, this is like saying I did not anything wrong. I don't know.
Speaking of
it
lessons,
was ridiculous.
there were no lessons that were learned, I guess.
But you wanted to talk about the sweep, or didn't you?
I mean, we can talk about the sweep as well. To me, it was shocking. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect Partizan to be swept
I did not expect them to get swept
during the season, let's say.
Yeah, but to be honest, I thought Zvezda are going to win, home court advantage, and they're a better defensive team. And also, I did not see Game 3 because I did not catch it live, and some way somehow the game is not on YouTube or anywhere. But from what I saw in the first couple of games, I saw one team that wanted it more, and it was Zvezda. They had more energy, more hustle. I thought Nemanja Nedovic was playing incredibly well. And, you know, we usually like to pinpoint his effort
usually like to
defensively. Come on,
defensively.
it's not just me. Everybody is talking about it. Why are you putting me under the train right now? But, so yeah, you know, we criticize him for his defense, but I have to say he was really great. His energy was amazing. We saw his emotions after, and it probably speaks louder than, you know, why he was playing in this way. It meant a lot to him. And I couldn't say the same thing about Partizan's core two players, Punter and Lide. And they know, everybody knows, because every team in ABA League, in every scouting report, they have them as primary targets, especially in off-ball defense. And, you know, then it's Kaminsky in the pick and roll, but they did not, I don't think they played as hard as they could have played in the defense. And from playing hard, I mean just being focused and concentrated and not allowing easy baskets. Because in a series, in the finals, every easy basket has golden value, basically. And the more you allow, the less likely you are to win this series. So I think, you know, Partizan has a great core with these two guys. But I think, and they know it, I think they should have been a little bit better, especially defensively. And Partizan as a team, as an organization, has a lot of questions to answer, I think, in this offseason. But because the way this team was constructed this season, they were not going to, let's say, pretend for titles. And if they don't solve that, they're just going to waste another year with Željko Obradović as their head coach.
Can I ask one question? I saw a post on our Instagram that with Crvena Zvezda winning the series, sweeping Partizan, it's not certain that Partizan will play in the Euroleague next season. But then in the comments, there's a chaos. Like, no, it doesn't say anywhere that, like, it's so uncertain. What is the actual truth here?
It's no one is saying that ABA League title locks you for the EuroLeague, right?
No, they do. That's what people are saying.
That's what Paulius Matiūnas said, that it's the only way. So right now, but okay, let's put it this way. So Zvezda is in the EuroLeague for the next season. Partizan, theoretically, they can be out of the EuroLeague, but I don't see that happening. To me, from the information I hear, I think that Valencia is the one you can expect to drop to Eurocup.
And not even Alba?
Everyone's saying
I haven't heard that,
as well or Alba to Eurocup, but obviously that's fan opinion. But still,
Asphalt is not happening. That's for sure because of their shareholders.
Yeah,
and Valencia, even with their new arena.
Yeah, but I mean, so.
But they didn't make the playoffs. They came from the Eurocup. It kind of makes sense.
Some promises to Alba from the previous regimes, so. It's tough conversation to have to leave somebody out. I mean, yeah, it's really tough. Although
and Paris is definitely coming to the EuroLeague. Okay, so there's one less spot.
It's a tough conversation when you don't have any merits to that. It's just basically promises that you need to keep or whatever deals you have made, under the table. Where is no sporting merit, it becomes extremely tough.
Not only sporting merit, there's basically no merit.
No logic. No logic behind it. Yeah.
Some deals that have been made before.
Some perspectives, agreements.
I got a nice comment after the video I did where I gave awards to every team, and the best one I think is Alba should get the Welcome to the Eurocup award.
Wow. Wow.
Harsh, but can't
true.
disagree.
But true.
Yeah.
Kudos to Zvezda. I mean, I didn't expect them to bounce back this way. They had a lot of changes, coaching change. They had to move on from the guy they expected to be the main guy, Shabazz Napier. They rebuilt the roster. They rebuilt the leadership. And this victory for guys like Nedovic, as you mentioned, it was just super important. And I mean, that speaks a lot about the way they managed to stay strong mentally, despite the shortfall in the EuroLeague. And the summary of Partizan season looks really bad. I mean, out of top 10 in the EuroLeague, they lost the Super Cup finals to SC Derby team. They got swept by Zvezda. A season to forget, despite the investments
to learn from,
made.
maybe to learn from.
Yeah. And for the end, we have 4 best teams in the NBA at the moment. And we have the Eastern Conference finals between the Pacers and Celtics, and West finals between Minnesota and Mavs. Who are your picks to win it all? Because I'm not sure when we're going to sit down to talk about the NBA finals or the playoffs. But at this point, who would you predict to win the NBA?
The whole NBA, I think Boston are going to be in the finals. They have this. There was this really funny meme yesterday that I saw: West playoffs and East playoffs, and one is pure war, and the other is like picnic. And I don't think, contrary to popular opinion or whatever, let's say majority what says, thinks that Boston are going to have an easy road in the finals against Indiana. I don't think it's going to be as easy because Kristaps Porzingis' health is a huge factor here, because he's the guy that unlocks everything for the Celtics. And so I don't think it's going to be easy, but I just see Boston having too much talent for Indiana. On the other side, I was really surprised, probably as everybody.
Everyone, I
Minnesota winning a Game 7 on the road against the defending champions. It was a fantastic series from them. Although it was a weird series because we saw a 7-game series, so 2 teams are kind of evenly matched, but all games were not really never decided in the last, let's say, last minute, because for a couple of first games were basically Minnesota winning by 20, then it's the Denver doing the same. So kudos to Minnesota. Their defense is impressive. Anthony Edwards is the star of these playoffs. And I have their defense holding up against Luka, who is, let's say, he's the best player in the series, but at the same time, I don't know how healthy he is, how long can he keep playing with all the pain that he has in his body. But Dallas's length is impressing. They have Kyrie, who is really performing well in his role. But I just think Minnesota's defense is going to do the job again here, although I expect a long series as well here. So I have Boston, Minnesota, and I'm keeping with Boston, who I picked even before the playoffs to win it all.
I did as well, actually, before the playoffs.
But you had Denver, right?
Yeah, well, to win the series against Timberwolves for sure. But here, I'll be as boring as we were with these predictions about the EuroLeague Final Four. I also would just go with Celtics here. I feel like the most stable team. Of course, they had the least opposition, you could say, in terms of their playoffs so far. So it's hard to evaluate. But I'm just... You said all the right things here. I'm not going to add much more. I'm just picking Celtics to win as well against Minnesota probably in the final as well.
Damn, the Luka disrespect.
I want Luka to win it.
Oh,
that would be.
I want Luka to win it.
If we're going who we want to win
Luka
it, then this
Kyrie
answer is then this would be way different, you know.
So I pick who I want actually, and I want Luka to win. So Dallas to win it all.
We'll ask Ritas to give his.
Can we try
NBA experts
one last time?
Yeah, let's try one more
call
time.
on WhatsApp so he
about his
knows
illness.
it's you calling.
Okay.
Yeah.
1, Last try.
I got 13th player in my survey, and he also didn't pick Olympiacos.
Who he picked as a winner?
Real Madrid against Panathinaikos in the final.
And who it is?
Daniel Oturu from FS.
Okay.
By the way, this thing is not easy. I mean, for us to throw these picks, it might look easy for you, but I know that a lot of players didn't want to get involved because of this, because probably of potential backlash coming from the fans.
Oh, really?
I mean, some just didn't respond. Some directly told that, I mean, I hope you're gonna understand, but if these are going to be public, I don't want to share my picks. So
that's so like
this is not an easy job.
So are you okay?
Are we supposed to sit down here, look at the comments, and see which team's fans we have the most, and then just write that team so we avoid any unpleasant
you're
interaction?
Not going to avoid anything in this Final Four. You're not going to avoid anything.
There's three fan bases that you will disappoint. One
exactly,
of them
exactly.
at least. So Rytis is dead. I'm afraid. Okay,
I hope not.
Not in that way, but like. Unconscious currently, so
let's wrap it up, guys.
Yeah, I feel like we should just wrap it up.
We have some stuff from our social media team, right?
Let's go.
Okay, this is in favor of Panathinaikos.
Yep.
And it's like this discussion: who's a better coach? Like we all would say, tactically, the mastermind Jasikevic, it's all that, but. Look at the numbers.
Again, it's not just coaching is not only game plan and in-game adjustments. Let's not forget that. Yep. It's the system, how you communicate with the players,
managing the
psychology, managing personalities, locker room, blah, blah, blah. A lot of stuff goes into it. So
I don't think Panathinaikos fans would, the comments are, I don't know, they're Sharas is better, whatever. I feel like Panathinaikos fans still appreciate Jasikevic. Just like we're not gonna offend anyone if we say Jasikevic is probably a bit better in those
in-game
aspects.
Adjustments and game plan.
Mantas, can you push C translation on the 6-3 coming soon? Probably. I think. First comment.
I think it's Fenerbahce fan.
Let's go.
Okay.
I thought it's going to be coming soon.
Yeah, it's in Turkish.
What about this green revelation?
Let's go to the seventh now.
Okay,
seventh victory, Ataman against Sharas, and the seventh star.
And it has more likes, so that's the one that wins. Okay, next. Do you have anything else?
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Where are the haters? That's a good comment. Why?
Up and down. One game, Augustus makes a video how Jokic completely destroys the defensive player of the year, but
why you don't like Rudy Gobert just in general? I mean, everybody. Because there's this narrative, Rudy Gobert is trash.
I mean,
Minnesota lose because of Rudy Gobert.
One-dimensional. I think that's what people don't like, right? That's the most because he's very tall and athletic, and that's his strength.
So
I think
what's wrong with the guy if he's one-dimensional? So
and he did the COVID thing. That's the thing.
Got him a lot of hate.
There's just something about him. There's something about
it. He was tweeting something and then deleting probably, or vice versa. I mean, there were some things, but is it the reason to get so much hate? I'm not defending Rudy Gobert. I'm just surprised by the hate he's getting. Because it's kind of one-sided,
I mean, he got that contract that was very, very big.
But it's not his fault. Right? It's the GM's fault.
It's not a fault at all.
Yeah, it's the GM's fault. Yeah. Let's blame the GM. Why you're giving him so much money?
It's because he had a lot of playoff disappointing series, let's say, with Utah. So I think people started calling him overrated there. And it was, all things added up, I think. And I love the comment of Federico Grassi here, who in Italian wrote, "I'm a simple Italian. I insult Gobert only because he's French."
Oh, he's French. That's why he's being hated. There we go.
I see. Now I
Next up, what do we have? Do we have anything else?
I don't know, my friend. We will see. I need to think about it. Nikola Jokic talking about Paris Olympics.
I think it's not the time to ask, right after you lose a series, which you should have won, had 20-point lead in
when is the time to ask him about the Olympics? After the horse racing press conference? I mean, when he's going to speak about the Serbian national
it's
team?
not likely he's going to tell you that.
Okay, they might have these exit interviews, probably. They usually do, I think.
I understand.
Perhaps.
Look, in this situation, I understand the question because of what Donata said, but I understand the answer because he just lost Game 7 and his season is over. So
Okay.
And
that's all.
that's all.
So
That's all,
we can't
folks.
wait to see you all, guys. And well, if you're friendly with us, that's the only that's
Gitas
the
is
only
a bit
condition.
concerned.
No, I'm
He's a
not
bit
concerned.
concerned.
I'm just a friendly guy. I get along, hopefully, with every one of you. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
If you come with good intentions, we're gonna welcome you with open hands.
In Redo XXL at Uber
Kebab
Platz,
shop. There we go.
next to Uber Arena.
see you guys
Really?
in Berlin.
See you guys there.